In today's session of Divorce Court, Andrea Roycroft says she knew Daniel was gay when she married him.
I married him because I felt that's all I could get.
You mean all you could get in terms of what, a man?
Yes, ma'am.
But now she says it's over.
You don't need to go and live in a lie. Go and be gay. Don't pull me through it.
And the hardest part lies ahead.
I have 4 children. I can't do it by myself.
You can make it by yourself. Don't ever feel that you can't make it. I made it as a single mother, and there's nothing special about me other than the fact that I made up my mind that that's what I wanted to do.
It's the case of Andrea Roycroft versus Daniel Roycroft in today's session of Divorce Court.
All rise. Court is now in session. Maybelline Ephraim presiding. You may be seated.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is the matter of Andrea Roycroft versus Daniel Roycroft. You've been married for 6 years, I understand?
Yes,
and
ma'am.
Mrs. Roycroft, you want a divorce?
Yes, ma'am.
And can you tell me why?
I've been married to Daniel for 6 years. He's gay. I'm tired of living a lie.
You knew that even before we got married.
I knew he was gay when we got married.
You
So
were
what do you
there
mean you're
when we
tired
went
of
out.
Mr. Roycroft? What do you mean you're tired of living a lie? How have you been living a lie?
We have 4 children. We have
Right.
4 children together. And he's
So
unhappy.
so
I'm unhappy.
he's bisexual then if you have 4 children together, right?
I guess.
And what lie have you been living? Have you been lying to yourself about
unhappy.
his sexuality or lying to others? What are you talking about, living a lie?
Lying to myself.
And how did you lie to yourself?
I thought we could make our marriage work. We have 4 beautiful children.
Did you
I
know
thought we
what
had
his sexuality preference was when you married him?
Yes, I did.
So what made you think you thought you could change it?
No,
Or
I didn't
what?
think I could change it.
So you accepted it before?
I accepted it.
And why now is it unacceptable?
Because I'm unhappy. He's unhappy.
So you're not unhappy just about his sexuality. There has to be
Your
some
Honor.
other issue, right? Is it just that?
I'm unhappy. I can't deal with it no more.
Did you have any other relationships while you were married?
Only one.
Only
it was an
one?
affair, yes.
Well, with a female or a male?
It was with a male,
Long term, short term, what?
just one time, and a one-night stand.
What you mean, a one-night stand only? That's
Correct.
all
That's a
you've
lie.
had during the 6 years of
You
marriage?
know
That is a lie.
No,
In
it
6
is
years
not.
of marriage, you've only had one
I've only
night
had
stand.
one affair, and that was after you and your affair.
No,
What
it
are you
was
talking
not.
about?
You
I
had
find
a
that- wait.
threesome before my affair.
How many children have you fathered?
We have
We have
4.
4, and we've had
4
2 miscarriages.
children. And 2 miscarriages.
Yes, ma'am.
Sounds like you had a very active sex life with your wife.
Well, it seemed like every time we did have sex, we got pregnant.
And so you're telling
And-
me you weren't enjoying it?
No, he wasn't.
We didn't ever
enjoying it.
sleep in the same bed after, like, maybe the second child was born. We slept in separate rooms.
So what was the point of having sex and producing children then?
I guess it was just, I don't know.
You don't know?
I really honestly
What were
don't
you
know.
trying to
I was
prove?
always told that I was not affectionate enough, and I could probably see that.
You
I
were
wasn't
told that you weren't affectionate enough?
Always told that, and I know she's always been down on her weight. I didn't marry her because of her weight. I married her because I was emotionally attached to her.
But now you can no longer live with your wife pretending.
No, no, Your Honor, I can't.
Do the kids know about this?
My 6-year-old seems to.
He seems to think that I told him, and I did not. It's just that.
Then
living
why would
with-
he come out and ask me a question? Why do you
Well,
like
why?
boys,
How
Dad? Or
old
why
are
did you
your
used to
children?
like boys, Dad?
Did you tell him? Well, maybe your 6-year-old can see your response and what you're doing. Are you doing anything differently now that you've decided that you don't want to be
Not
married
coming
to your
around,
wife?
Your Honor.
I
He's
don't
not
come
coming
around as often.
What do you mean you don't come around?
Like he should. He's so afraid of what I'm gonna think that he's putting it off on our kids, and our
Why are you
kids
crying,
suffering.
Mrs. Roycroft? What do you feel?
Because I have 4 children that I'm gonna have to, one day explain what has happened and with their mom
And I
and dad.
tend
How
to
old
be
are your
right there
children?
alongside
I've got
of
a
you explaining to
6-year-old.
them.
I've got a 3-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 2-month-old.
A 2-month-old?
Yes, ma'am.
So how long have you been so unhappy about this?
For most of our marriage.
So if you knew for 6 years that your husband really didn't like women, he preferred men, because you said you knew that before you
Yeah, I knew
married him,
that.
why did you marry him and
Because I
keep
didn't-
having children?
He wanted 4 children, and it seemed like every time we had sex, we got pregnant.
He wanted 4 children?
Yes, he's always wanted 4 children. I
Why?
married him because I felt that's all I could get.
You mean all you could get in terms of what? A man?
Yes, ma'am.
So you were not feeling too good about yourself?
No, ma'am.
Have you always been this size?
Yes, ma'am.
So you were feeling that you were happy of the fact that this man looked at you, what, you had not had a history of good relationships with men?
I hadn't really had no relationships with too many men.
So you felt good about the fact that he was interested in you?
Yes, ma'am.
Even though he was not what you thought he should be?
Yes, ma'am.
So it's your low self-esteem that allowed you to marry somebody under the pretense that you were marrying a man, knowing all the time that he really didn't like women.
Your Honor, also...
Is that what you're saying to me,
Yes,
Mrs.
ma'am.
Roycroft?
Yes, ma'am.
So now, have you done anything to change that image? Are you doing anything about it? Are you
I'm
taking
doing
any
something
courses?
about
Are
it,
you
yes,
in
ma'am.
counseling? Are you in
No, ma'am, I'm not in
exercise
counsel-
program? What are you doing?
I'm trying to stick to a diet. The strongest, if I could get over him, then I could do anything, and I could take care of myself the way I need to take care of myself.
No, don't worry about getting over him. Just focus on
You
Mrs.
told me you
Roycroft.
already had got over
Just
me.
focus
That's what
on...
I just said. I said if
Well-
I could make it over him, then I could do anything.
You can if you just focus on Ms. Roycroft. Don't
That's
worry
it,
about
that's
him.
what
You
it's
have-
about,
You have
Ms.
4
Roycroft
children.
and my
The two of you have
children.
4 children.
Yes,
you,
ma'am.
What did you think you were doing? Playing
Your
house?
Honor.
Or
I
just,
guess that's
you know,
what we
bringing
were
in
doing.
babies and
Your
toys
Honor.
and dolls? Hold on a second.
No, I didn't think it was. No.
The point is, these 4 babies,
Yes,
they had
ma'am.
no choice. They
Yes,
didn't have a
ma'am.
right to make that decision. The two of you knowing that you weren't going to live a double life, why did you choose to bring 4 innocent people into this?
We had the same
We try to
goals.
make it work.
To try to, you thought having children would make it work?
Make it work. I wanted to make it work and live my life with her and our kids.
So,
And
now all of a sudden, why don't you want it to
as far as me being
work?
gay before we got married, she always threw that up in my face also.
Okay, so if you lived with it for 6 years,
Yes.
and you lived with it enough to produce 4
I couldn't
children,
have any friends that
You
were
can't
guys
have
because she
friends.
always assumed that I was having sex.
No, he could have friends.
Even when I worked at that store by our apartments, you was assuming that me and him had something
I did
going
not
on because he
assume
was
that. That
spreading all
was
those
joking.
rumors.
No, I did not spread any rumors.
But you came up there to the store and made a scene, and the cops were called.
That's right.
What
And
are
the
you talking
kids were
about?
up there too.
explain that. What are you talking about?
We lived at these apartments, and it was a job I had to take because I couldn't get to my other job, and it was right next door. And there was this 18-year-old guy working there that I guess was infatuated with me and started all these rumors that I was having an affair with him.
He started the rumors.
He started
Right.
the rumors. That's correct. I did not
But
start
he
the rumors.
was saying, this guy was also saying that she was starting
I did
the
not
rumor.
start the rumors.
Well, you were probably feeling
You think I
insecure
want
about
rumors
it.
going
Is that
around
right?
that he's gay?
I would think
Making
not
me
if you
look
had
like a
lived the
fool?
life and it's a
No.
lie for the longest that he wasn't. I would think not. But my point, my question to you is, if you wanted a life with your wife,
But that's
you
what-
wanted 4 children, you now have 4 children. You've been blessed to have 4 children. They're all healthy, I assume.
Yes.
So if you could do that and that's what you wanted, you now have what you wanted. Why all of a sudden you have to leave? And you want a
Because
divorce?
being the fact that, like I said, it's always thrown up in my face through our whole marriage.
He don't need to go and live in a lie. Go and be gay. Don't pull me through it.
Oh, so you're ready for it to
I'm
end and
ready
let him
to-
go on to another
Yes.
life?
When divorce court returns, the judge offers Andrea some tough life lessons.
You can make it by yourself. Don't ever feel that you can't make it. I made it as a single mother for years, and there's nothing special about me other than the fact that I made up my mind that that's what I wanted to do.
Are you involved in a dispute with a neighbor, friend, relative, or business person? Take your case to a new court show and be represented by a prominent attorney. Call 877-777-0099. Divorce Court is back in the case of Andrea Roycroft as she testifies about her fear of raising 4 children alone now that Daniel has left her.
You're torn between it. You really want him to go, but you don't want him to go.
I don't want him to go because it's going to be hard for me. I've got 4 children.
And I
can't
plan to
do
be
it by
there for you for
myself.
our 4 kids.
Sure, you can do it by
Were the
yourself.
10 days? Why
Just-
didn't you call them for 10 days?
Sure, you can do it by yourself, Mrs. Roycroft.
Yes, I could do it by myself,
Don't
but
believe. You got to have faith in yourself, and don't rely. Just because the two of you are not going to be together does not mean that he's not going to be there for your children. Because
just
he
needs to
said he
get
wanted
over-
4 children. Now, I know you're going to spend some time with them.
Yes, I
I
am.
know you're going to pay some support.
Yes.
I know you're going to be there for them emotionally. And you can make it by yourself. Don't ever feel that you can't make it. You have to believe in Mrs. Roycroft.
Yes, ma'am.
That you can make it. I made it as a single mother for years. And there's nothing special about me other than the fact that I made up my mind that that's what I needed to do and wanted to do. And you have to do the same.
I can make it. I just would like him to help.
Of course he's going to help you. The law is going to make sure that.
Yes,
If he
ma'am.
doesn't do it willingly, we do it
And I
unwillingly.
do
You know that?
do it willingly.
Yeah. So don't worry about that. Now, what else is going on?
During our marriage, I guess every time we got a car, he decided then that he wanted to be gay that night, but then he'd come back to me.
Whatever.
So what did you
I
do,
did
get
not
2 or 3
decide that I
different
wanted to
cars
be gay
every time you
time I
turn
got a
around?
car.
No, every time we got a car, I've had 2 accidents that caused us not to have a car.
All right.
Financial situations caused us not to have a car. We never had anything really.
Or they got totaled.
I just said that. I had 2 accidents in the cars.
Right.
But every time we got a new car, like this last time, I knew it was going to happen, Your Honor. I just didn't know when. I was prepared.
So he left.
He took off, yes, ma'am.
But he says he's only gone out with somebody else one time. You keep saying that he
One
goes out
time.
and have gay affairs.
Once, no. I'm not saying I know for certain, but come on.
But he just leaves the house and he's gone for several days?
Not several days, but he doesn't show up when he says he's going to show up.
What do you mean by that?
He doesn't come home.
So one day,
But your
overnight,
home is not
how
my home
often?
because we haven't been living together since June.
And that's true, too.
Hello?
So the
Because
marriage
he
is
can't
over, right?
financially take care of me and the 4 kids.
So what?
He can't financially do what he's supposed to do because of his issues. He needs to get his issues out, be himself, and take care of the kids.
Why did you love her emotionally?
Because we were
What did she
best friends
provide for
before
you?
we got married, and I think you should be best friends when you do get married.
So what were the good times? You said you weren't attracted to her physically, but you were best friends. What does that mean?
Emotionally, mentally, we were intimate with each other more so emotionally and mentally than we were physically.
So you were able to talk to each other?
No.
You were able to share your dreams with each other?
Usually we're able to talk to each other instead of you badgering or being manipulative, trying to get the truth.
Because
or
that's all
trying to
I've asked
fish
for
the
is the truth, and you always
yes,
lied. All I wanted was the
because
truth.
of your
The truth
violent
about what?
reactions.
The truth about everything. I can accept everything. I hate it when I'm lied to and deceived.
Like what? He didn't deceive you. You knew he was homosexual when you married him.
Okay,
so that's
I knew
not
that,
deceit.
but we took vows, okay? And when you take a vow, you're supposed to stand with
Remember
that vow.
your vow too.
He took
you
a
had
vow.
your
I know
little
I
affair.
did.
He took a
Okay,
vow
yeah.
to be married to you and to love, honor, and cherish you. I haven't heard you say that he didn't do that. I've only heard you say that you no longer can live with his sexual preference. You haven't said that he's not accepted his vows to love, honor, and cherish you. You haven't told me that he doesn't love you anymore, that he doesn't honor you, that he doesn't cherish you.
I love her,
cherishes
Your
me.
Honor, but
I believe
I
he
do not
cherishes.
love her like I should, and you know, I feel that she deserves better than what I can offer her. Being
So-
that I can't, I mean, I was always told that I didn't do it for her, you know, otherwise. So.
All right, so what can this court, I can't change that. I just advise that, you know, you have to be true to yourself and you have to stop living a lie.
Yes, ma'am.
Whatever
That's
that
right.
lie may be and
And
lying
I'm
to each
sorry
other.
it took this
But
long to realize that.
That's what I don't
I
understand.
don't think it took this long to realize
We
that.
separated several times. I'm sorry, Your Honor. We had separated several times, but he'd always, and I'd start working on trying to get over him and going on with my life, and he'd come back to me,
And you'd allow him back.
and I allowed it back.
Or you would
But so
call
now
me
what are you
constantly
doing now
or
to-
come over and harass me, so don't.
Is that what
So
it
what
was?
are you doing now to make certain that you don't repeat this cycle?
What am I doing now?
Yeah, so if
Seeking
he
a
were to
divorce.
call you now saying he wants to come back,
Oh,
a
no,
divorce
honey.
doesn't keep him from coming back.
He cannot come back.
And what's going to change it now emotionally if he were to call you in 2 weeks from now and say, you know what, I've changed my mind, I really love you, I want to come back?
That would never happen.
That would not happen.
Oh, so you won't do it again?
No.
And what's going to prevent you from doing it again? You found somebody you're really happy with?
I'm not with anybody.
Well, so what's going to prevent you from calling her again?
I don't want a relationship with anybody that way. I just want to work on being friends, and I can do that with her because we do have 4 kids.
And
Sounds
it ain't
like
just
a
about
very
the kids. We had
adult
a
way to
friendship
handle it.
before the kids too.
So what can this court do for you other than that?
I would like to be reimbursed for the times that he's went out without me to the gay nightclubs, had fun while I was sitting at home with the kids.
He said he didn't do that.
Oh, but he did.
So
did.
how often did he go out to gay nightclubs?
In the marriage, 6 years of marriage,
Uh-huh.
without me, going without me.
You wanted him to take you? Is that why you're upset?
No, not
No,
that I
she
want
would
him
never
to take
go,
me.
and I did
had the
invite
kids.
her.
I had to stay at home with the kids.
So you want him to reimburse you for the nights that he went out to clubs having fun?
That was our family money, not for him to go out to the gay clubs.
And how much did he spend over the 6 years?
About $240.
And you think he should reimburse you for that?
Yes,
I
ma'am.
may have went out 3 times over the 6
3
years.
or 4 times, and every time it...
How do you base that 240? How do you calculate how much he spent going out to the clubs if you weren't there with him?
I know how much he spends when he goes out.
But if you weren't there with him, how do you know? In 6 years' time. How'd you come up with that number?
That's what I'd like to know.
I figured $50 each time, 4 times this last time he took...
Because usually I'd have people paying
$50
for
each
my
time he
drinks.
went out, and that's $200.
Okay, and this last time, he told me himself he spent $40.
So that's how you calculated the $240?
Yes.
And you think he should reimburse you?
Yes, ma'am.
What did you go out and do for fun?
What did I go out and do for
That was
fun?
my question.
Go out with my friends.
And how much money did you spend?
We'd spend roughly $50 or $60 together.
And how many times did you do that in 6 years?
8, 10.
You don't know, right?
8 or 10.
And should he reimburse you?
No, because we did it, it was our money.
When divorce court returns, the judge renders her verdict.
You're acting on emotion. You're allowing your emotion to rule. You can't do that.
And an update on the case of Janenne Johnson versus Christopher McConaughey.
He promised me the world, told me I wasn't going to have to work, that I could stay at home.
Divorce court will be back in session in a moment. Divorce court is back as the judge rules on whether Daniel must reimburse Andrea for money she says he wasted during the marriage.
You have 4 children, the youngest of which is 2 months old. Mr. Roycroft works. He's not giving you money regularly. Instead of going back saying, reimburse me for the nights he spent at the nightclub, you should have walked in this court being more concerned about those children and saying, give me some child support for the next 18 years of these children's lives and order him to pay child support.
Ma'am, I didn't know that.
But see, that what I'm saying to you and suggesting to you is you're acting on emotion. You're emotionally upset over the fact that he went out to gay nightclubs and spent money. And because he did that, you want to be reimbursed. You're allowing your emotion to rule. You can't do that. And in everything you do, before you do it, take the emotion out of it and just think in terms of consequences and what's best for me, what's best for my children. I can't give you back those nights. I can't give you back that money. And even if you went out and did whatever it was that you did socially and enjoyed it and spent money, the court wouldn't reimburse it.
Yes,
I'm talking about legal principle, and that's why I can't give it back to you.
Understand.
Nor can I erase the pain.
Yes,
all right? So what you need to do is get over that, work on Mrs. Roycroft, let him live his life any way he'd like. You decide, what do I want for me? What do I want out of life? Take care of you. If you like your weight, stay that way. If you don't, work on it. Do something about it. All right? You're a beautiful person.
Thank you.
All right?
Thank you.
You need to find out that you are. And to help you out, stand in the mirror every morning 10 times and say, I am beautiful, and just keep repeating it until you believe it, all right?
Yes, ma'am.
Best of luck to you. Stop living a lie. Work on yourself as well. And take care of those children. You didn't ask this court for a child support order. It's coming soon, Mr. Roycroft. I suggest that you begin it voluntarily. All right. Court's adjourned.
When divorce court returns, an update on the case of Janenne Johnson versus Christopher McConaughey.
When somebody says, I'm going to give you an airplane, and they riding around on a bicycle, what makes you think they're going to give you an airplane?
I take people for their word.
Closed captioning for divorce court provided by. Are you involved in a dispute with a neighbor, friend, relative, or business person? To appear before a real judge on a new court show, call 877-777-0099. And now for an update on a previous case in divorce court. Janenne Johnson said her husband Christopher McConaughey sang his way into her heart.
I have waited for so long.
But could not live up to his promises.
He promised me the world, told me I wasn't going to have to work, that I could stay at home.
When we got married, this ain't for rich or for poor, and she knew I wasn't rich.
When somebody says, I'm going to give you an airplane, and they riding around on a bicycle, what makes you think they're going to give you an airplane?
I take people for their word.
Janenne wanted Christopher to move out of her apartment and reimburse her $1,000 for his share of the rent. The judge gave Christopher 1 month to move out of Janenne's apartment and ordered him to pay half of the rent and utilities. Christopher is living with his new girlfriend and says that singing for the judge has encouraged him to pursue a musical career. Janine was relieved to come home and find Christopher gone and says she realizes that she's a strong, independent woman and she will work 2 jobs if necessary to support herself and her children.
I was so emotional in there today because he's still lying. He's still living a lie.
I don't know how I feel about it, honestly.
I've got 4 children that need a father, and I don't feel like he's being there, doing the right things to be a father.
Well, I want to continue being friends with her because, of course, we do have kids, and then also that she's just somebody I don't want to lose in my life.